Welcome to Belly Up to the Blackboard, a podcast focused on the reality of teaching and other musings from and about professionals, hosted by Chris Munn and Justin Russell.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
This is episode 10 now, and you just heard that was our special guest speaker that we mentioned on did we do it on Twitter? Special. On Facebook, I remember. Yes, there were a bunch of thumbs up for that. It is Coach Suntken. What's up?
Yeah.
The elite track coach.
Elite.
I am part of the elite.
Part of the elite. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Trying to hold this baby in for a couple more weeks, but ready any day. So I am not drinking tonight, sadly, but I know you guys are drinking for me.
Yeah, we are. Here we go. All right, Russ. What are you doing? What are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm super fancy tonight. I'm drinking these Vizzy, like fancy and healthy, because these things have antioxidants in them.
Yeah, so, they're healthy for you.
I'm not only cleansing my system, and I feel very good about what I'm drinking. So, no, this one's pretty good. I never had them before, but I had they're margarita flavors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so these are pretty good. And then earlier I was drinking my Timberline whiskey.
Yeah.
That was smooth. And then I gotta finish it up because I got some other stuff I want to get to here that I've been buying. So.
Yeah, you're making your rounds and hitting stores, right?
Yeah. Hitting some stores and get some local stuff that you can only buy in the area.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll say it since you didn't ask me. I am drinking the Tomstown vodka.
That's kind of our thing, though. Like, you're nice to me, and then I'm just rude. You know,
right?
This.
You're a dick. It's called reciprocity. I ask you a question, you ask me a question. So it's Tomstown vodka with Sprite. It's very, very smooth. I think it's still 17 times.
Yeah, that's the one in. Like isn't that the one in Kansas City that has the still is like 3 stories, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like a little. It's like really thin. It's like a needle. This still, and it's like 3 stories tall.
Recording in progress.
Oh, did you guys hear that? Sorry, I wasn't breezed on Zoom, and I forgot to start and record it. Very, very professional. So yeah, recording in progress, Bree. So you are recording
officially on.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, I think Tomstown does have that 3-story still, maybe.
Yeah.
But very smooth. Yeah. I mean, you can drink it on ice, but then I think you might call me an alcoholic. So we put some Sprite in it.
No, I call you a madman, man. Yeah.
And that's a little vodka martini.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we got that out of the way. Sorry. Bree's not drinking anything because she is about to pop.
She's prego.
Any day.
Yeah.
Any day.
Any day now. Yeah. Is your daughter excited?
Yeah, I think she's going to be really jealous, but I think she's going to be really excited at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's how it usually goes. Like, they get really super excited, and, like, it's their sister, it's their brother, or whatever, and they are very protective. So
Is she into babies, though? Does she have, like, little dolls, and she, like, pretends to be a mom?
Yeah, she loves babies. She is currently, like, we had to bring our car seat in, so we had to take it to my husband's parents this weekend just in case. And she wanted me to bring it back inside, and now she likes to sit in it. So I'm afraid she's going to try and pull her sister out of it and be like, no, that's mine.
Now, how did your dogs do with your daughter?
Gus liked her, but Chevy was the first. And when we brought Gus home, he was like, okay, this dog isn't leaving. Like, all right, that's fine, I guess. And then we brought Pearl home, and he was like, okay, she's kind of cool. And then he was like, so she's not leaving either. So
Oh.
he's gonna be like pissed for like 2 weeks, like he was when he brought Pearl home.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah,
he's just a grumpy old man right now, so I can only imagine that he's gonna be like.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, you get nervous a little bit because you don't know how you're, like, if you have a dog before you have a kid, and we had we had Chase first, but you just never know how they'll react to something new. I mean, a lot of times they're protective and it's their human, but I mean, you hear some stories too about, and usually it's a certain breed of dog, but of getting upset and.
The dog's actually really good with Pearl. Like Pearl will pull their tail, and they like don't do anything. I'm just like shoot. Like Chevy will start running, and Pearl will have a hold of his tail, and he just does nothing. That's good. Her to like bite her.
Yeah, that's a good dog.
Right, but it's a great dog. Good personality.
Yeah. So although Bre is no longer with us because neither is Justin. You guys bailed on me. I mean, you left me in the dust.
Greener pastures.
Green, yeah, no kidding. Except you're in Texas, which is I broke that. You're in Texas, which is a dust bowl.
Justin's fault I left because he told me I should take the opportunity. So
I'm not mad. Well, I'm jealous. I mean, I'm just upset you guys left me.
I'm catching a trend here, Bre. Like you left, I left. Like a lot of people left, and Chris is still there. So I mean, the only common denominator is Chris.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm starting to get like a complex. Well, I've got my drink with me, so we're fine. I'll forget about it. But Bre's still coaching with me, so there we go. She signed
you still got your hook in a little bit.
Lifetime contract. She's got to wait at least 4 years for Chase.
Yep.
Got to coach him.
Jimmy, Chris told me he's running hurdles, so that made me excited.
Told me that too.
I saw him at the conference this week.
I think we got a few. I think we got a few guys that are gonna. It'd be nice to. I got to talk to some kids still. I have highlighted of kids I think that'll help us. But it'd be sweet if we could do 2 teams of shuttle hurdle. But
yeah,
that would be nice.
We will see. We will see. So last time we talked about parent teacher conferences, and we said that this time we were going to talk more about because maybe we didn't say this, but Thanksgiving break's coming up here in a few weeks, and then right after that. 3 weeks later is Christmas break. So we, as young teachers, when you don't have maybe a family or maybe you're married, but you don't have kids yet, and we call Bre a new teacher, but she's 8 years in, but she's still new to us because is it 16 and 17 years?
Yeah. And you think about the average, teaching span is 40 years? Like she's still new. She's a baby.
She's
40 years? Oh my God. So long.
Strap in and buckle up. Right? So, what do we do?
I'm already getting too old for this.
Hey, you can buy yourself, quarters at Ipers, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Like to buy in.
They're super expensive. Yeah, super. Yeah.
I don't even get Ipers anymore. I have a 401k now.
Oh.
I only get
fancy pants.
Yeah, I got a 401k. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had to talk to my husband's mom about how to apply for it and everything. So, I don't know anything about insurance or any of that. So I asked my husband's mom to help me with those things because I don't know.
Is she licensed?
She does Kevin's books and everything. She is knows.
Cool.
She's an accountant. She knows money.
Nice.
Oh, neat.
That's nice. Yeah. That helps. So then, do they match it then, or do they contribute too?
Something about if you put in 6, they'll match 3, and then there's one other one. But I think I did that. Put in 6.
Yeah, that's a pretty generic plan. Yeah, it's pretty solid though. I mean, can you imagine that, Chris? If we had 6% match on our Ipers?
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah.
Oh God, that'd be unreal.
I could retire now, maybe.
I just have to keep coaching forever, so I can keep getting that little bit of Ipers with my coaching.
That's right. That's called a nest egg.
Yes.
But what a lot of teachers do when they're younger, and I mean some even as they get older, is that they work outside of school to supplement their income, which is crazy when you think if somebody has a career and then they have a job on top of that. If you thought, if somebody's an accountant and then all of a sudden they're working at Come and Go on the weekends, or they're a lawyer and then they're donating plasma, when they get home. I mean, of course, lawyers and accountants make more than teachers, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, what other career do a lot of people have second jobs?
Yeah, we're not detracting from skilled workers who work full-time jobs, but the majority of people who have full-time careers, or what we would designate as careers, tend not to have the need to have a second job, right? Like, and the hard part is what do you do if you're one of those careers that you really can't have a second job? And I'm thinking like police officers. Like, how often do you hear a police officer putting in 50 hours a week, right? And then working 20 hours at Target, being a shopper for people. You just don't hear about it because a lot of them can't have that second job,
No, I think if anything, they work off duty, maybe as either security or something like that.
Yeah.
And I
Moonlight.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of times, and if you think about coaching, I mean, coaching's technically like a second job. It's outside of our
coaching is a second job. Like,
yes,
I coach cross country this fall, and I teach at a different school now than I coach at, because I don't teach at the same school Chris does anymore. But I would get done with school at like 3:00. Then I would drive the 12 minutes to the school, and then I would have practice for an hour, and then I would have to leave and go pick up Pearl. Oh my gosh. And then I would have to I didn't have to drive to the meets, but it made more sense for me to drive to the meets. And it was just like.
But that's two other aspects, right, Bre, which is not only being a parent, but then also the travel. Because if you don't teach at the district you coach at, and we've all three have known several people who have been great coaches that don't work for the district, right? Like, just the time constraint on them for travel, their job, their schedules, it's nuts. You're right. It's a second or third job at times. So
yeah, and it's not like so when you drive, because before I came back and I was working at a shelter and I was still coaching at the school, I would drive to track meets. And I will say it is nice being able to drive in your own vehicle. And if you need to stop and grab something to eat or to drink on the way there, that's nice. And you're not babysitting a bunch of kids on a bus. But it's not like they compensate you for your gas or your mileage either, though. I mean, that's especially now. I'd hate to be driving myself to a meet or something as expensive as gas is.
You know what really reminds me of is there was an article yesterday about Twitter programmers and employee managers and employees all up in arms because some of them had to work the weekend. Some of them felt pressured to spend the night at the office because they had to get things done. And some of them were complaining that they weren't going to get compensated for the time. And I just laughed because I'm like, welcome to an educator's life. How many times have we felt the pressure to stay at school, right, until 9-10 o'clock at night, or work over the weekend, or the pressure that you're going to get fired because you didn't have stuff ready for the next day, right, or the project that was supposed to be due. I just laugh when I see people that are making $70,000 to $100,000 a year bitching and moaning that they had to stay, and then they're asking, well, aren't we going to get compensated for this extra time? And it's again, welcome to an educator's life, right?
Yeah. And Bre, I don't know about how, when you were teaching with me, is that I know it's not even just that you do it. It's almost like you're expected. If you don't get it, you don't have time at school because all of a sudden your plan times become meeting times and you run out of planning every day. But then it's almost expected that you're going to take work home with you and do it, or stay later than the contract time. And I can't remember the way it was stated about staying after contract time, but I know there's a couple times when comments were made of how it's almost expected, or I do this, so you probably you should be doing it too. It's for the kids.
Yeah, some of it was you may have to do this outside of contract hours, and it's just well, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing that. But I think even when we had conferences this past
Oh, she froze, I think. Justin, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. But I think what she's getting at is it's a good point. Go ahead, Bre.
Bre, you froze. Sorry, go ahead. You're talking about conferences.
I was just saying, like, this last year for conferences, like, I know that we got out at like 2:45 and then had to be like in the gym like right at 4:00. And we usually have some downtime to like prep and like get ready for parents. And like, it just seems like this last year, like most of that time got taken away and it was more and more time. And I think that's why you see more and more people leaving the profession or doing something else, because all of our time that's supposed to be designated for planning is being taken by, like you're subbing or you have to go to a meeting. Chris, why does it say there's only 10 minutes left?
I know, it's because I'm on, we're doing it through Zoom, and yeah, they charge you now.
Yeah. But hey, Chris, this would be a good time to do our little shameless plug for, right?
Well, hey, Bre, you said you had to leave at 8:30 anyway, right? So that's like
8:30. Yeah,
that's perfect timing. So you got 9 minutes, Bre.
You want me to talk about any side hustles I've done in like the past few years, like for teaching? I know that was like part of.
Yeah, that's because that's what we're going to get to. But
and if you could talk about that, and then maybe some tips for new teachers or those thinking about getting the profession on how to juggle all that, like marriage, personal life, all that.
Not good at it yet, Justin. I'm not good at it.
It's because she's a new
but
teacher.
You've made it 8 years. Yeah, but you've made it 8 years, so I mean, there's got to be, you have at least one or two. I mean, you're doing pretty well, so.
Yeah. So one job that I did do the first year I came to our school, the one that I taught with Chris at, I worked at Maurice's. I thought it was a good idea to get a job in retail. And then I thought I was doing myself a favor by like telling my boss, I can work like this many hours. So there's a variety of times, so I won't get like scheduled for all of them. And then my manager was like, no, I'm just going to schedule for literally all the times that you put down. And I'm like, I work a full-time job and you are going to schedule me for like 25 hours at this retail job. Like, I don't think so. I had a bad manager. That was a really bad experience. And then like it added to so much stress at my actual like teaching job. So I had to quit. But that was one thing I did. What I did like about it though, it was completely different than teaching. And I got to like get away from the stress of teaching for a few hours, a few times a week. I sold lip scents for a while, like makeup.
Okay.
I sold makeup for a while.
Did you win the green or the big pink Cadillac? Well, that's
no.
That's Sally.
Wait, that's the wrong company.
I should not. It was something I should not have done. It was.
You too can look like me.
6 months, and I was like, "This is not. We're done."
Her science class became like selling it to the kids, didn't it?
Yeah. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a multi-level marketing opportunity.
Exactly. I think about that. I don't even know what movie it is, but they like talk about it, and it's like an upside down triangle, and they like flip it over, and I'm like, oh, it's a pyramid.
Yeah. You just sell 2 cards to this guy. And then he sells 2 cars, and then.
What was else I was supposed to talk about? Dealing.
What's some advice?
Advice
for younger teachers that like may need that part-time job, but being able to balance it with teaching.
I found out that if you take stuff home, even if you don't do it, it makes you feel better. So I always pack my bag full and I take it home, and I usually don't do it. As a first-year teacher, like I think last year I learned a lot about like not stressing about things and like knowing that when I go home, like it's time I spend with my family. Even as a brand new teacher, like I had a student teacher last year, and I told her, I said, if you don't take away anything from this, like your mental health is the most important thing. And if what you're doing is getting in the way of your mental health, like then you need to step back and take a break. Like first year teaching is a lot, but I think like being mindful and knowing when you need to step back and take a break, like helps. I know with my new job, like September and October were full of deadlines, full of data, and like that, these 2 months have been very stressful for me, but it's stress that I like. Like, I enjoy what I'm doing. So as long as you still like enjoy teaching, like, I think it's good stress. But once it gets to the point where, like, for me in my position, like last year, it just felt really toxic to me, and like I just wasn't happy anymore. But just making sure you can find like little joys in things. Like, when I come home, I hang out with my daughter, and it makes my day like so much better if I had a bad day. So I think being mindful of, like, if you're a first year teacher and you don't have kids yet or not married, like, have a pet, or like find a place you could go on a walk, or just really being mindful of your mental health. And I think that was huge for me. Like, getting in a new position has really helped me with that.
And I think what you said about like learning to leave things at school, and I think like Justin and I have talked about that before, that we've learned to do that over the years of it's not that important, you know. And there's times now where
there will always be that to-do list that is not done, and it will not get done because you keep adding stuff to it. But if you check off a couple things every day, that's great.
Yeah.
And I think a good analogy to what you just said, Bre, is like the email, right? Like, we all used to make fun of it. I used to be anal retentive. Like, I could never in the day with an email unopened in my inbox, right? Like, I felt like that was so unprofessional, yada, yada, yada. But like the last couple of years, it dawned on me, like, it goes with what you were just saying, is there's always a to-do list, right? There is always that one extra email. No matter how many times a day you check that email, your email box, whatever, you're always going to have email in there unread. And
you're going to get
that's
50
a great
emails a day.
Yes.
Like, I can't check that many.
It's like
it's
like a gray hair,
list, right?
It's like a gray hair. You pull 1 and 2 show up in its place.
That's fact.
Yeah,
that is fact.
And I love how you said that, Bre. Like that, there's always going to be that undone to-do list in education, at least. But that to me, and I think we would all agree, that to me is not a big of a failure as of having that undone checklist as it is having that undone checklist at home, right? Like, in our own lives. Like, if we have an undone checklist at home with our kids, our family, whatever, Chris, you and I have talked about this. I think that is the saddest failure we could have, correct?
Yeah, and that's like, I've gotten better now. I'm still bad sometimes. Like, I got to get this just a second. I can't play catch right now. But now I'll catch myself of, no, I can do that. I just need to put my kids ahead of my work. That work can wait. Yeah, let's go play catch. I mean, you only have so many hours of daylight, and that's way more important than anything I think we do at home. Because when your kids suffer,
I realize I get home and like I get home with Pearl at like 4:30, and then she goes to bed at like 8:30. And like, that's only a short amount of time. Like, she spends most of her day at daycare, and like, I can do stuff. If I absolutely have to do stuff, I do it after she goes to bed. Like, she is the most important thing in my life. Like, my family is the most important thing. So.
Yeah. You know, what's that saying that like, if you died tomorrow, your job would be posted the next day, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously that's a little,
and that's what I also tell first year teachers. Like, you are replaceable. Like, you're as much as you want. And not saying you shouldn't feel valued in your job, because you should. Like, but yeah, exactly. They'll post your job tomorrow. Like, and that doesn't matter. Like,
but there's a difference between valuing your job, and because I would agree, there's a difference between valuing your job and taking pride in what you do, but understanding that there has to be a disconnect. And Chris, you've heard me say this several years ago. When did we, as teachers of the profession, become obsolete beyond what our profession is? So, like, here's the thing: like, in special education, you never say that there is a autism spectrum that is a student, right? Like, you don't ever put the disability in front of the person. But that's what's happened with education is we are the teacher who is Mr. Russell. We're not Mr. Russell, who's the teacher and a coach and a father and
I'm gonna be Mr. Munn, the guy that cuts you off, because Bree's about to get kicked out of this Zoom meeting.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, next time we can do it in person. It'll be a little bit easier, and we don't have to pay for a subscription to Zoom, I guess.
Yeah, this is fine. Let me know if you want me to be on again. I'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe this will
next
blow
time
up.
you can stay longer. Do it. Yeah.
Maybe we'll blow up because you're on here, and then we can pay for a subscription.
Yes.
We're gonna become TikTok famous. It's gonna be great.
Thanks, Bree.
Thanks, Bree.
Bye, guys.
All right, see ya.
Yep. Bye.
Recording stopped.
Okay, so there we go. So that's our first. But you know what? Hey, it worked. It was nice to know that it actually worked. I didn't know that there was a time limit, but I think after the whole COVID issue, they started charging.
So with everyone free.
Right? Yeah, with everybody using it.
Can we say what Bree does for job?
I don't know. I think we can let her do that next time.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to say her job or where she's at, because who knows? You know how it can get.
I get it.
Yeah. So for us, we can talk about some of the jobs that we did. I mean, there's a lot of jobs we worked together.
There's a lot of jobs together. I think between the two of us, I think we pretty much have covered the spectrum of side jobs, haven't we?
I think so. Well, one of my favorites was when we were demoing wine.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then spirits. When we did that, it's because that was a whole different deal. You were talking to, you're talking to adults. After talking to kids all day, it was nice to talk to adults. And it was good money too. I mean, and then we got,
absolutely,
free admission into the wine fest and those things and stuff like that, which made it worth it.
Extra events.
It's just when and it was only a couple days a week or whatever, but then they started requiring more time, I think, and
more time, and then they started their pay structure changed, and it became a lot more of a job instead of
like
a side deal. Yeah, like side hustle or gig.
Yeah. What's another one that you've done?
Oh man. Well, you remember this. I remember my first couple years teaching. So I would, after getting done teaching, I'd leave around 5, go home, sleep until about 10:30, and get up, and then I go stock shelves at a grocery store.
Oh yeah.
Until like 6 a.m. I did that 4 days a week, and then would work one weekend day a week. So that was exciting. I was alternating that with a gas station job at the time too as well. Oh man. Did Uber, all that fun stuff. Side sales, drop shipping, eBay, Amazon. I think I was delivering shit at one time. Like, you name it, like anything beyond like Chippendales and like, drugs. I think I pretty much did it for a little bit. But when you're single and you know how it is, you're broke. What was the stat when we graduated? Do you remember about, I think 50% of first year teachers declared bankruptcy within like the first year after graduating.
Oh, I don't remember that. I guess
and it was something like that. And then like 50% of teachers quit teaching within the first 5 years due to financial issues. Yeah.
And now starting pay is a lot better than when we started. I think my starting salary was like maybe $27,000 or $28,000.
Yeah, but it's perspective too, man, because like you think about cost of living, right? Like, and we, not to go into finances and all that, but like, we say it was $27,500, but shoot, rent back then was what, $600 maybe for
single,
800
so
square
you're
foot.
No kids.
Yeah, so no kids. Groceries weren't super expensive. I mean, there was several years where it was cheaper for me to eat out because I could split the meal into 2 meals than it was to buy groceries, right? Like, but you're right. Teachers get paid more, and we can talk about the semantics of how equitable pay is among districts. But I the worst part is, and you would agree, that you remember that your first month teaching, did you get paid?
No, because I think we started in late August, and then I think the first paycheck for that year was that September 20th, because we get paid, and that was another thing, was getting paid once a month was very hard to adjust to.
Oh yeah.
From either biweekly or weekly. It was tough.
Yep.
That first. I mean, it took a few months to adjust, but yeah, you were teaching for free that first month because you didn't get paid till the 20th of September. I remember that. What about you? Because you were at different spots.
Yeah, same thing. But I remember the kids would make fun of me because for the first 5 months I literally had one pair of dress pants. I mean, I did. I wore them 5 days a week, would wash them on Saturday or Sunday. I had like 2 pairs of jeans, a couple t-shirts. Like, I had nothing to my name because I literally was dead broke that first month. Like, I remember I had to call the bank that owned the loan on my truck and ask them if they could delay the monthly payment to like the end of the loan until I got paid. Like, I had to explain it to like 2 or 3 people. Like, I wasn't getting paid that month. And this is the shit that people, they don't realize. Teachers, they get 3 months off. What are they bitching and moaning about? Well, but here's the thing, like, you get paid once a month. You get, 4% is taken out from IPERS. Then you have your health insurance. You still have Social Security. You have all that. And if your first year paycheck for the year is $27,500, I mean, holy crap. Like, it dissipates them on a monthly basis quick, right?
Yeah, and now, like, and I don't know what they get paid now, but it goes quick. I mean, like you said, you're paying for rent. Now I can't imagine. Rent's at least double probably. I know when I started, the first...
Did you just fall down?
Nope, but I spilled something. That's not good. That's no bueno at all. No, the first, I think I was living in an apartment downtown, and it was like $600, but it was brand new. After 6 months, they raised the rent like $300. So then all of a sudden it was not feasible.
No.
So I can't imagine what rent is now. I mean, it's not cheap.
And on top of that, you were not as single as I was, but the idea, like, here you are at 21, 22, you're single. Not only do you have to find the apartment, pay for transportation, pay for all utilities, everything, but then on top of it, you have to try to figure out how to transition from college kid to quote unquote mature adult, right? And part of that is that long-term relationship. And that's a struggle in itself on top of the financial piece, right? Like, it sucked those first couple of years trying to figure out cheap but fun dates, right?
Yeah. I mean, you were always looking in I can't think of what they call it now, the Citizen, what was it? City View. You always look for stuff like that. They always posted like free or cheap things. And now, like, imagine, getting back to working multiple jobs. Imagine being a teacher now, because price of everything's higher. Yeah, you're getting paid more, or even just as a new teacher, like you were talking about, is you're working a second job to make extra money, but then, like you said, you have to have like a personal life, and if you don't want to be single your whole life, you have to try to find somebody you like too.
Yeah.
So where's
not just
the
that,
time?
but like you're right, and it comes back to that separation, right? Like, if you can't afford or don't have the time to have that separation from that career, regardless if it's teaching or something else, like, how do you find, and this is pretty deep, I'm sure, but like, how do you find your self-worth, correct? Because as soon as your only thought to yourself is my identity is I'm a teacher. That's all I am. That's all I'll ever be. That's all I need to be. Like, okay, but that's 40 some years of your life. And then when you get to retirement, because they'll force you to retire at some point, because no one's going to want to, shuffle you down the hallway Weekend at Bernie style to your classroom.
They do it with the president.
And let you yeah, exactly. You should. Yeah, you might want to edit that one out.
No, we'll leave it.
We'll leave it. We could gain a lot of listeners. Who knows?
Or lose some. Either way. I mean,
lose 4.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, and you don't want to die in your classroom, And
yeah. No one ever on their deathbed, and I'm sure they don't say a lot of things, but I guarantee no one on their deathbed goes, I really wish I taught a better lesson in October of 2026, right? Like that day was really bad for me as a teacher. Like that is not what they do, right? Like, and I just, I feel like the first year teachers really have to understand that not only do you have to have lessons planned out and kind of an idea of how you're going to be as a teacher, but really start thinking about how you're going to juggle all those facets of post-college and actually becoming a teacher. Because trust me, your first couple of years, and Chris, you would agree, your first couple of years, you have a lot of leniency in most districts.
Yeah, you do. As long as you're not
in most districts.
I think the biggest thing too is if you have classroom management, which is one of the hardest things, but if you can do that, the knowledge of the curriculum and everything will come, and how to get that across. That's the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, when you're young, you got to make sure you've got some leniency, like you said. And it's hard because I know as first year teachers and new teachers before we had kids, and we've mentioned this before, going in on the weekends, first thing Saturday morning, you stop and grab coffee and some breakfast, and you go and you work for half a day or, whatever it may be. Because even married and before we had kids, it was pretty easy. I'd go do that, and Morgan would go somewhere else, or she'd come up and, put stuff up on the walls in my room. But I think with some teachers too, young teachers, and we kind of talked about this yesterday at PD a little bit with a couple teachers, is, if you don't have, if you're not in a relationship, or you're not, and I'm not trying to be a relationship expert by any means, so let's make sure we get that disclaimer out of here. But if you're not in a relationship, or you don't have something to go home to, you don't have like a pet or preferably a dog, because they're more empathetic, I think. But, you have a really shitty day at school, and you take that home with you. I know we have, but we have our kids and our spouses and our pets that as soon as you walk in the door, I know my dogs are right there excited to see me. If there's nothing greeting you at the door, you can stew in that, and that is not great for mental health. So even though you need to juggle like your job and maybe a second job, if you find something fun and with people you like, that actually might be more important than the money, is just that that cohesiveness with somebody, or that bonding.
Well, I tell you what, like the great example of that, Chris, is when I bartended. I didn't make a lot of money, but the ability, because I should say, the majority of people that come into a bar, like thinking about ourselves, like the first thing we do, even when we're pissed, isn't yell at the bartender, right? Like, right? We were chatty, or we got to get something off our chest, or we're like, just give me whatever you got. Like, I'll take it and I'll sit down here by myself, right? Like that to me was a great opportunity. I felt so much more helpful when I was the bartender than I did on those crappy days when I in the classroom, right?
Now is the adage true that like they tell the bartender all of their troubles?
Oh shit, yeah. It is the things oh crap. I still remember oh man, I was racing, I was coming back from Des Moines. I think I had hung out with you guys on like a Sunday or stayed the weekend in Des Moines with you guys. And I was flying back some late Sunday afternoon, trying to get back because I had to get my lesson plans, because at that point I was having to turn lesson plans in and stuff. And I'm going through Granger, and I get pulled over, and I'm going like 15, 20 miles over the speed limit. And anyone who ever drives through Grangeville, Iowa knows there's a stretch on 141 that just sucks, right? Like, it's so tempting because it's 4-lane to drive fast, and the speed reduces quite a bit to like 35 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I get pulled over. The officer comes up, and he's looking at me like super weird, like one of those deals where like I'm thinking, oh my God, did I do something to this guy? Like, should I know him? Like, I must. You're right. Like, there's something not right here. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to jail here tonight. So he takes my license, comes back a few minutes later, and goes, "Hey, I'm just gonna give you a warning." But he goes, "Hey, I gotta ask you." He goes, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And I go, "Well, I don't know why." And he goes, "Well, where are you headed?" Because he goes, "Your ID says your ID is from Des Moines." And I tell him where I'm going, and he starts laughing, and I'm like, "Well, what are you laughing?" He goes, "I know where I know you from now." He goes, "You bartend at this place. You called me the night my wife was out on her bachelorette party, and with her bridesmaids. They got way too drunk, and they had you call me to come pick them up."
Oh,
and
geez.
he goes, "I am so forever grateful," because he goes, first of all, they could have made it home. Like, they were so gone. And he goes, "But for you to call me and you were so helpful," he goes, "I am so glad that I just decided to give you this warning." And I'm thinking, oh my God, like, but that's the shit. Like, people say like teachers who are burned out, and I'm one of them. It was hard to see the forest beyond the forest for what it was.
Yeah.
And
the thing.
And there is a perfect example where, God, I think I butchered that phrase, right? Like, those who live in glass houses should,
books,
something like that. Yeah, that one thing, whatever. Yeah, you all know. But there's a great example, and I know you and Coach Weed gave some examples about students who weddings you went to, and just who literally have said you've saved their lives. But there's a great example of what that side hustle did. And it's not probably the most appropriate job for a teacher, but I had so many good interactions. Shoot, I had probably so many parent-teacher conferences at the bar while I was bartending. Like, it was a good trade-off to what I was doing.
Well, and
what's the weirdest job you've ever done? The side job.
The weirdest? Ooh.
Yeah. The one, or I hate to use the word regret because I don't think we should have them, but
yeah.
The one that you probably wouldn't repeat.
Oh, man. I got to think. I wouldn't say the weird. I don't really think I had any weird. Oh, maybe the weirdest. I don't know if you call it weird, but was it Gig Walk we did? Where you like.
Oh yes.
And that was okay. It wasn't bad. I think I did a couple gigs on that. The problem was it was more like East Coast, West Coast, so there wasn't a lot of stuff in Iowa.
Is that the one we drove around to like 4 or 5 different gas stations one time? Trying to find if they had like something out back set up.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh gosh, yeah I remember that one.
What did we do when we were dumpster diving? What were we looking for there? Was it that was cans?
That was when we were in school.
That was high school. Yeah.
We went dumpster diving for furniture.
Yeah. No. It wasn't dumpster diving. We found furniture on Craigslist and stuff. Oh, pallets. We were teaching when we did that.
Oh, yeah.
We found.
Yeah, we were bad on that one. That one was horrible.
It turned into a business for a while until I think.
Yeah,
I had
the
kids.
struggle on that one was. Yeah, well, the struggle was orders. Remember, we were like 3 months out from orders.
Yeah. And so with that one,
we had full-time jobs, and like just trying to keep up on orders was a nightmare.
Yeah. So with that one, it was. Well, it started with, I think you started with, and you found pallets for free on Craigslist, and then people were looking to buy pallets, so we would just take the pallets for free and then sell them to the people. We were just a middleman for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we started
borrowed the
building
truck.
furniture and like wine racks and things like that with the pallets. Yeah. And we did that stuff. So that was, I don't know if you call it weird, different. I mean, it wasn't like a normal one that everybody does. I shouldn't say everybody does.
It was non-traditional.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people do is donating plasma.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that again at some point just because it's, you go and sit for 2 hours with the needle in your arm and watch a show and, you know, it's not bad. So
well,
what's your,
and you, I know you love your family, but I think you're on the same page as me. Is it was nice having once or twice a week those couple hours to yourself, right? Like,
yeah, and that's where I was talking at PD with somebody is that, you know, they go home and then like, I don't want to say it's depressing, but like they're just there by themselves, right? So like if you have negative thoughts or like you had a shitty day, you're sitting there by yourself with your shitty day and that's all you're thinking about.
Yep.
Whereas like, you know, if you're a family and I was like, I'm the complete opposite. I go, if I can get a couple hours to myself, it's, I mean, cause it's, I don't say chaos, but like there's always noise. There's always something.
Yep.
So having a couple hours to myself is great just because, you know, we have crappy days. And when we come home, you know, we say they go away because we see our kids and things like that. They don't go away. We just push them to the back or to the side. Mm-hmm. You still had that shitty day. But sometimes when you have that time by yourself, you can either reflect on it, deal with it, or, you know, just let it kind of wash off of you, you know, because you have that time to just decompress, you know, and it's harder to do that with a family. So that time alone is nice, but I can completely understand where somebody, if they don't, you know, they're not going home to a family where that's all they have is that time. They need interaction with adults. And that's where a part-time job may be more beneficial than just the money.
Yeah. And also getting out whatever's bother them, right? Like you can't just lament. That's not healthy. I mean, I can't think of any research out there that says holding on to your stress and anger is healthy, right? But in any case, as far as jobs go, like I know you're about to ask, let's see here.
What's
the
your
one
weirdest?
I don't. Well, let's start with one I don't think I'd ever do again, and that is buying pallets of returned electronics from Amazon.
Oh yeah.
And then trying to resell them. One, the market is so saturated, like everyone and their brother kind of does it now. Two, your margins on anything are so low that you're going to pay 50% of whatever you make to Amazon because, you know, you make $6 off of something, you're paying $3 to Amazon to sell it, right? So, so that one I want to do again. I would say my oddest would have to be working overnight at a gas station, man. Like in a small town that had a factory. Like, I loved it just for the fact of the variety of people I got to talk to. And I got to know some people pretty well, especially when they get off work. And again, they treat me like the bartender because I was at the cash register and would just kind of, you know, chat with them. But that one was hard. I did that 3 or 4 days a week. I would leave school at about 4, go home, grab a quick bite to eat, go to the gas station at 5 p.m., work until 4 in the morning.
Oof.
5 in the morning. And then go home, take about an hour and a half rest, get up, shower. Yeah, that one was rough. The first couple of years, and I would admit, and this is my advice for first-year teachers, like, if you somehow in your last year of college can figure out how to squirrel away, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, I know that's a lot of money. But if you can figure out how to squirrel away some money so you don't have to do those kind of hours, like, I would say do it because – like we said, your first month, you don't make money at all. Most districts will have you come in about 3 weeks early before school starts. Their pay cycle tends to end in sometime in September or in August. So you literally go 30 days without a paycheck. There's some schools that will do like a bonus when you sign up, but that doesn't get paid until your first paycheck. So keep that in mind. Also, I would say, as far as side hustles, find something that isn't going to take up a lot of brain power. You know, the worst thing you can do is, like Bre said, find out that your manager wants you to work 20 to 25 hours, right? And you've become accustomed to making that extra $300-400 a month, and now they're going to force you to work more, and you need that money. You're kind of stuck, right?
Yeah, and make sure. I mean, don't stay in a side hustle that you don't like, because you've already had you have your career. Find something, and it may not make that much money, but find something that you enjoy with people you enjoy, because then you're just gonna. If not, you're gonna take the stress of your day, and it's just gonna continue. You gotta enjoy. You know, you gotta enjoy teaching, obviously, but that thing that you go to. Heck, maybe it's working at a coffee shop. I always thought working at a bookstore would be nice, just because I love books. But yeah, make sure it alleviates stress. It doesn't add on to it. Yeah, especially now, because there's so many places hiring. You can find a job anywhere. Yep.
So, my other piece of advice on that would be, make sure it is something completely outside of the realm of teaching. Like, don't teach during the week and then be like a nanny on the weekend, right? Like, separate the idea that you're working with kids all week. Don't work with kids on your off time. Like, it needs to be something completely separate. So like Chris said, even if it's something it is what you may find as boring as working in a bookshop, go do it, because that contrast, that separation is going to be huge for you. You're going to probably love the mind-numbing work, right? Like, put this book here, open this box now. Like, it might be something worthwhile. Yeah, that's what I loved about stocking shelves. I just put my headphones in, and for 8 hours, I literally was just doing mundane work.
Yeah, and it's almost like refreshing, because it's completely different. I know I did one thing I forgot, a job I forgot. I actually tutored at Sylvan. When I first started out.
Yep, I remember that.
And yeah, you're right. It's just an extension of school. And I thought that, hey, I'm going there. These kids are going to want to learn these things because they're here at tutoring. And a lot of times it was just the parents. Kids were struggling, not great scores. So the parents were paying for it. Didn't mean the kids wanted to be there. And so, yeah, that's one I would never do again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's I think what you gave is a great example of that. Wouldn't you say, if you had a bad day at work or at school, like, that just kind of carried over, didn't it, to when you went to tutor?
Yeah, because it's like, I got to deal with kids, more. I got to teach more. It did. And it really did.
Yeah, it just made you keep thinking about what happened during the day, right? With that one kid or those two kids or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, not that I did, but like, it'd be easy to take it out on another kid that made one mistake and didn't know, and now all of a sudden,
project that. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So,
and then I would say, closing up, if we have to, my second piece of advice is, do not be hesitant to be honest and real with students about if you do have that second job. So, like, great example, Bre was saying, like, take grading home, or take that work home, even though you don't get to it. Like, it just makes it feel like they're all, because your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, and you may get to it, but
doesn't mean
you have to.
With that, if you get back to work the next day or school the next day, and kids are like, "Hey, have you graded?" That's a great time to be honest with them. Be like, "Hey, just like you, I know, right? Like, yesterday, did you work?" And they'll go, "Yeah, I worked at Walmart for 6 hours, whatever." Just like you, I had the second job, or, my daughter had a dance recital last night. I had some family. That was my main intention, was to spend time with them. So if you can understand, I will get to that either tonight or the next day. But don't be afraid to have that upfront conversation, because that's going to carry a long way of you being a human with those students versus no, I had better things to do. Why would I get to those? Like, I don't care if I said I was going to get to it. I have better things. And then leave it at that. Like, that will ruin your entire credibility with that class, right?
Yeah, just like with, being honest, just like with anything, honesty is going to go a long way. They're gonna.
Yeah. Now,
and
don't
they
be
may
too
not
honest,
understand, but no. I doubt you'll
like
be
I had a hot
stripper,
date last night. You know what that means, right? Like,
yeah.
We're not.
I didn't wake up at my house this morning. No.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Don't be that type of honest. But,
no. Say no. I had planned on it, but I had to take my kids somewhere. I'll get done this weekend. Most kids understand, and
especially at the high school level. Middle school, they really don't care. Elementary, I can't imagine handing out grades or whatever at that point. But if you do, just know your crowd. So, but anyhow, no, I hope Bre comes on again. That was awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to have her in person so we don't have to shut off the Zoom meet. But she had to leave anyway. So hey, buddy, where you at?
Real quickly before I do that, did anybody leave feedback about last week?
I didn't see anything. No, not yet.
Man,
so,
okay.
I know.
Alrighty.
So hey, don't. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, don't be afraid to leave us feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Leave us a review, like us, share it. It's just fun. We're doing something that we love, and we just like to hear from other people.
Yeah, right, definitely. So where I am right now, we are in Canyon Lake, Texas. So it is just north of San Antonio, a little under an hour. But no, it's been wonderful. We came from Waco. So any of you who love that Joanna and Chip Gaines show, Fixer Upper, their workshop and home base is in Waco. They have that Magnolia facility, and no, that place is awesome. It was really cool.
How crazy was that?
Oh my goodness, man! Like we could think of the place you've gone where you are like, time doesn't exist. Like, I don't care if it takes me 3 hours or 9 hours, 10 hours to get through this. Like, think of that place, and that is what their facility is. It is so cool. It definitely is them as far as characteristics and style, which is awesome. You don't get a sense that it was some multi-million-dollar corporation that came in and made it,
Yeah.
So, but
was it
San
packed?
Antonio, it was packed. There was lines in every building. So I think they have like a dozen buildings on the premises, and every single one of them had at least probably 40 to 50 people in line.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was insane. They have a bakery, a church, they have like little shops. They had at their main facility building, they had all their souvenirs and restored items. And it's really cool because all of the buildings on the facility highlight their friends' businesses that they've made over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just really cool to see. But no, I always said if I had to do it over again as a young man, I would either move to Kansas City or San Antonio. Just the culture, the young vibrance that it has, just, and the social life. I mean, I'd be broke as anything, but I would have made a lot of great friends, had a lot of great experiences, I'm sure. So from here, from Canyon Lake, we will move on to Corpus Christi.
Okay. When you heading there?
We're going to head there on Sunday. So Sunday we leave here. We go to a place in between here and Corpus Christi for about a few days.
Okay.
And then we'll spend 14 days at Corpus Christi.
Oh, wow. So is that where your cousin lives?
My cousin lives over by Austin.
Oh, okay.
And then, and then Kim's cousins live over near Austin as well. And then, my cousin lives up by Dallas. And then, so we had dinner with her. we had dinner with Kim's cousins. We couple sets of cousins, which is awesome. And it has been, I'll tell you what, I know I'm nowhere near retirement age, and a lot of the people who are listening aren't either, but if you ever have a chance to take a sabbatical year and you can afford it, I would do it in a heartbeat, especially if you have family and kids. Like, this experience in itself will definitely be worthwhile, working until I'm 70 or 80 or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. You hit it right at the right time. So awesome, buddy. Well, it's good talking to you again.
Absolutely.
We'll wrap her up, and we'll have to talk off air and see what we'll do next time.
Yeah. I was going to say, for those of you who are listening, if you have any recommendations on types of guests to have or topics coming up, definitely send that over. Chris will end with our, email?
Yeah. So
other stuff.
It's so the email is bellyuptothe blackboard podcast@gmail.com. Kind of long. You can follow us up at Twitter, Belly Up to the Blackboard, or Instagram too. I meant to get some pictures of our guests. I'll try to put one up of a screenshot of Bre. I didn't get one when we had Weed on, Coach Weed, the other day. Yep. I regret that. Yep. He'll come back on. He said he wanted to. So, and then
Chris, I started an Instagram on the for our travels.
Oh, cool.
And I backdated to all the pictures. So if you want on that Belly Up to the Blackboard Instagram, just send an invite.
Yeah. And what's yours? What's your I don't want to say handle.
The Instagrams, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not the recovering teacher.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know if it's that full thing or if it's like different, but I don't know.
Okay.
Kim had to set it up for me. I don't understand that technology.
I'll figure it out, and we'll share it and do all that stuff. So,
Perfect,
but yeah,
man.
buddy, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again.
All right. Yep. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.